Weekend as well. AEW Redemption took place this past Sunday. SummerSlam is taking place this Saturday and Sunday from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. AEW Redemption took place at the Bell Center in Montreal. Where do we want to start, Josh?
So, a little bit of a confession. I didn't actually get to watch AEW Redemption. I DVR'd it, and I will watch it in its entirety when I get home. I didn't get to watch it because I'm down here in South Carolina, but I know everything that happened. We had 3 champions lose their belts. Hikaru Shida dropped the TBS championship to Maya World. We had a new AEW national champion in Andrade El Idolo, and the one I dislike the most, Smile More. Willow Nightingale is your new AEW Women's World Champion. She used the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up to defeat Tekla. And now that sets up Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné at All in Wembley Stadium for the AEW Women's World Championship. This will be their rubber match, as Mercedes won the first time they fought at Double or Nothing a couple years ago to become the TBS champion. And then on the New Year's Eve episode of Dynamite, Willow beat Mercedes to win the TBS championship. This is not the match I wanted. I'm not very interested in it. I don't care that it's their trilogy and the rubber match. I wanted Tekla versus Mercedes. I think it would have been a way better story. I think it would have been a much better match. I'm not that interested. But the main thing that happened, Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay lost to the Young Bucks in a tag team match. Moxley wanted to use the chair on Nick Jackson, and Ospreay said no. And then in the main event, after Kenny Omega successfully retained the title against Kevin Knight, which that was always going to happen, there was no chance Kenny was going to lose the title. Moxley comes out, and first he was going to hit Kenny with the chair. Then he has Kenny's head basically in the chair, and I think it was Claudio that was going to stomp his head in. Will Ospreay comes in and is like, no. And then they were going to do the bag spot. I don't know if you remember this, when they put the bag over Bryan Danielson's head.
Yes, I do.
Moxley was going to do that. Ospreay said no. Moxley basically goes, okay, you do it. And Will said no. He turns on Moxley, and that's a whole side story.
Very complicated. I'm trying to follow. It's very complicated.
Yes. And in the end, Ospreay's celebrating. Kenny comes up from behind.
I saw that.
Hits him with a one-winged angel. So this whole thing is so complex, but I'm so invested, and I need to watch Dynamite tomorrow. Even though I'm down here in South Carolina, you better believe I am finding a way to watch Dynamite. It is confirmed, by the way, Young Bucks will take on Christian Cage and Adam Copeland for the tag team championships. However, I don't think it's going to be just those two, because AEW is in the Motor City tomorrow. Isn't there a tag team that has Motor City in their name?
There is, and they just became free agents.
Yes, and the Young Bucks have been wearing shirts that have a certain New Day to them.
Oh, so, you think it's going to be all 4?
Yes, Fatal 4-Way.
Well, are they going to do a spot where someone does a 450 to Nick Jackson and he just gets up immediately like it doesn't happen again?
Oh, and I forgot we had a crazy no holds barred match. Jericho versus.
Well, I was going to say you had. Listen, both companies this week put on 2 of the stupidest things I have ever seen in a wrestling show or ring in my life. WWE's happened last night on Raw with the Danhausen concert. And AEW's happened on Sunday with that drill that Jericho used on Tommaso Ciampa. If you're trying to convince someone to watch wrestling from either side, this is not the way to do it.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the spot where Tommaso Ciampa beat up a toy.
No, that drill spot was horrible.
Okay.
Absolutely horrible.
Okay. But I want to get into WWE because I watched Raw last night.
Well, I see you found yourself. I've never seen you tweet so much in one day in my life. I see Josh Ungar over here tweeting gifts to WWE of him turning the channel off, asking why should I be invested in this, saying, okay. This is coming from the guy who says he doesn't watch a lot of WWE. He says he doesn't watch the product, but all of a sudden he cares very much about the fact that Liv Morgan has had 0 title defenses since WrestleMania, and Braun Breaker isn't doing anything, and Obafemi and Brock Lesnar is apparently so boring that you need to turn the TV off. So I was unaware that you're that invested in the product.
No, first of all, the fact that Braun Breaker is not having a match on SummerSlam is atrocious and ridiculous. He's basically become like background to this whole Austin Theory, Maxine Dupree story, which I don't give a damn about. Get him out of the vision. Let him be a monster and run wild, please.
Listen, I agree, but also, and they were talking about this on Real. I know you probably haven't seen any of it yet. I'm going to watch episode 4 tonight. It's very true. We've been talking about this for really months. WWE's in sort of a tricky spot right now, and Cody even alluded to this in his promo with Punk on SmackDown, where you can make a case right now, their roster in terms of star power of veterans at the top and young guys coming up has never been filled a more star power. But how do you protect each and every one of them? It's hard. And I think they are worried that if you have Oba and Braun Breaker be monsters at the same time, and then you're trying to work Gunther in and being a heel and being a monster, there's not a lot of guys there that can take falls.
So what the hell was the point of doing the Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins feuds then? I thought that feud was supposed to elevate Braun Breaker, not push him into the background.
Well, I also think they got caught because Logan Paul got hurt and they don't know what to do with the Vision. Being completely frank, that's the only thing I can think of. I think they should end it and move on, though. I think the Theory, Maxine, I think the Vision could be a tag team, but not be a tag team, if that makes sense. I think they could all be a stable, but Theory sort of have his thing going on with Maxine, Breaker doing his own thing with Heyman, and Logan Paul sort of floating. And then what are you going to do with him? Are they waiting for Bronson Reed to get back to do a big turn? And they're going to have Breaker and Reed feud? Maybe that's it?
I don't know, but let's get into SummerSlam. But first, I need to say this. That was one of the worst go-home episodes of shows I've ever seen. Like, all we got for Liv Morgan versus Io Sky was videos. They've completely dropped the ball on that.
Well, no, not true. You had them fighting during the Raquel Soruka match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Yay.
You got that brawl. Well, I'm just saying, you said that's the only thing we got. It's not the only thing we got on the show.
Okay, fine. But that feud has taken a backseat to Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, I agree. I know you think I'm going to come on here and argue with you today. I'm not going to argue with you about that. And I was trying to push back on the Danhausen overexposure narrative. It has now gone too far.
Yes.
And I don't know if it is TKO, because now they're even putting I don't know if you saw this at SummerSlam, they're going to have a Danhausen themed I think it's popsicles, it may be ice cream, but I think it's a popsicle truck that's going to be literally just outside US Bank Stadium.
And now they added a stipulation to Dom versus Danhausen last night. It's a human money's
on a pole match, yes. Which again, Danhausen's going to win. Please, and this was my concern. Remember when you and Jalen pushed back on me about Danhausen's debut, and I said, "Who the hell is this guy? He's getting booed out of Chicago." And then I gave him credit; he got himself over. But my concern always was, how is Danhausen going to translate in the ring? The answer is, outside of the JD McDonough match, Saturday Night's Main Event, which I thought was a pretty good match, he can't wrestle.
It's that whole match is just going to be goofy and, silly spots, which let me say this about Dominic. He was so good. Just a few months ago, he was one of the most hated heels.
Yes. And they've gone into this bucket now, and I've been saying it. It's a weird bucket, and I don't know whose idea it was or why they're going into this bucket. There are no defined baby faces and heels anymore. It's okay to have a couple. It's okay if Roman and Seth aren't exactly baby faces, or Punk's not exactly a baby face. But it doesn't work for Dom Mysterio to be a half heel and a half baby face.
No. And I will say this. The match they built up the best in the lead up to SummerSlam is the 6-man tag team match. LA Knight. Well,
I mean, I actually think the best match they built up is Gunther and Nick Aldis. I can't wait for that match. Listen, they've convinced me, and everybody's saying, what's Gunther doing? Why isn't he going after the championship? This is a personal feud. If you want to get Gunther away from the title, by all means. I know this spot was probably supposed to go to Drew McIntyre. They pivoted because McIntyre is apparently in Hollywood, and who knows when he's going to come back, and he is thoroughly missed, by the way, on WWE programming. I'm okay with this. If you're asking me the matches I'm most excited for on Saturday, outside of Owen Brock, it's this match. It's not even Cody and Punk, which I think will be a good match, but they needed more time to build it.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I feel like WWE rushed the build on a lot of these matches. Like Penta and Chad Gable, I feel like there's been no build, nothing.
I will say with that one, I agree with you to a certain extent, but they did a really good job. The one video package I liked last night was Gable's. That sold me right there. The story isn't about Gable versus Penta. The story is about Gable overcoming and they showed the video clips of him telling Gunther in 2023, I'm going to become the Intercontinental Champion. And Gunther beating him, his kids crying. Then they go to the Sammy turn. Then they go to the Alpha Academy turn. So it's all this where Penta is sort of the background character. This match is not about Penta. It is about Gable.
No, I understand that Gable's the main character, but I would have liked some type of interaction with Penta and Gable still.
I mean, if you watch the SummerSlam kickoff show, if you saw a clip of it, they sort of had it where Penta said, Chad, I respect you, but you're not a luchador, was the base of their story. And Gable said, well, I have learned from the Mexican and the Lucha Libre culture, but it's time for me to, in my hometown, finally win the one championship in my career I've been chasing.
But no, I want to get to Cody Punk because you referenced it. My feelings about both of these guys, but I'll tell you what, I want to see this match. I do. And I wanted to get invested in the program. My personal feelings for both of them aside, I've wanted to see this feud. I've wanted to see this match. And not that excited about the match or the feud, just because.
So here's what I would say about it. I want Punk to win, and I want Punk to win clean. I don't want any interference from a returning Randy Orton or anybody. Do you realize Cody Rhodes has not been pinned clean since he returned to WWE?
It goes back to like what Gunther and Sammy have both been saying about him. He's the golden boy.
Well, it also goes back to this, what CM Punk has been mentioning. Every friend of Cody Rhodes has stabbed him in the back. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, to a certain extent, the Bloodline, Jey Uso.
Randy.
I'm going to stab you, Randy. I'm going to stab you in the front. I'm going to beat you. And I think Cody needs to go on this journey of experimenting. And I'm not even saying you turn him heel, but I think we need to see a more aggressive, a more different side of Cody. I think maybe not even a heel, but a more of a I'm entitled Cody Rhodes. I'm a Rhodes. I'm QB1. I should be the champion. Punk beat Sammy for the title, not me. That to me would have been a better story than what we got, because that's what maybe that's what we're getting next. We need the next level out of Cody to change an attitude.
Yeah, this can't be a one and done thing with Cody and Punk. It needs to be a continuation. Money in the Bank is the next show after SummerSlam, right?
Technically, it's the next PLE. They have a Sunday night main event in Atlanta the Sunday before Labor Day.
Okay.
And I don't know if they're going to add like a WrestlePalooza or something after that. To this point, they have not.
Okay. Because I think they need to really build it up. Because again, the match I'm most interested in and would love to be able to watch is Solo Sikoa. I'm going to call him Powerhouse Hobbs. And LA Knight against the Bloodline. I'm loving this new version of Solo Sikoa. I hope it's not a ruse and he ends up joining the Bloodline. I like this new babyface version of Solo. I'm enjoying how they're like presenting Powerhouse. Again, I know that's not his name in WWE, but that's how I know him. But my worry is one of them are gonna turn and join the Bloodline or join Jacob Fatu, something.
I think what very well could happen, because I agree. I think LA Knight, Solo, and Powerhouse Royce Keys, I think they're going to win Saturday. Now, Sunday, there's been this theory out there, some people have floated, that Solo is going to actually then help Roman defeat Seth Rollins. I don't see that. I think Roman is beating Seth Rollins. I think he's doing so clean because this whole narrative of Roman's always needed help since this title reign is not true. Roman's had zero interference in the two matches against Jacob, and now I predict in the match against Seth Rollins. I think this leads to Roman Reigns LA Knight. Now, whether at that point Solo turns on LA Knight and that's when he joins the Bloodline, I don't know. Whether you lead to running Roman and Solo back, I don't know. Because you got to think now, after SummerSlam, the next big show you're building to is War Games. So I would imagine your men's team will probably be, I would imagine, on the Raw side. Roman, Jay, Jimmy, Jacob, and maybe somebody else, and who are going to be your heels.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of view wrestling as different seasons. Like right now we're in the summer season leading up to SummerSlam. Like you have WrestleMania season, and then you have the time after, and then you have SummerSlam season, and then you have the time after. As of right now, I would say there's the build up to WrestleMania. That's its own season. WrestleMania season, and then the in-between, and then SummerSlam season. Those are the four Those are the
Yeah, I would somewhat agree with you. The fall is definitely the lowest season. Once we get through SummerSlam, sort of until we get through Halloween is sort of the lowest point. I would argue in wrestling even more so than the post spring WrestleMania season because of football. And we'll see. The interesting thing is I don't know what's happened at WWE because it's like all their innovative ideas they were doing a couple years ago, they either ran out of them or somebody else is booking the show. Because the Triple H that booked from SummerSlam 2022 to WrestleMania 40 is gone. This whole company looks like it's being taken back over by Vince.
It really does.
There are signs. Like the day I was in line, I was like, are we back in 2019 WWE? Like,
yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
What did you say in the championship rings chat about that Danhausen spot? You said like it was worse for you than when Eric Rowan was carrying around that spider.
Yes. And I'm thinking to myself, like, again, I know how Triple H booked in NXT. I saw him book the main roster. This isn't the same show. So is it TKO? Is WWE just turned into a viral moments company? Is that what they are?
I don't know.
Because again, we've said this before. The good stuff is really good. The bad stuff is really bad.
Yeah, 100%. And the frustrating thing is, a lot of these matches at SummerSlam are gonna be good. They're like, I can't say like, many of the matches are going to be bad.
No, I think SummerSlam will be the show of the year. I think it will be better than WrestleMania as long as TKO doesn't get involved and there's a million. And here's the other thing: the ESPN stuff. I think the ESPN stuff is what really brought the product down. To be honest with you, ever since they switched the POEs from Peacock to ESPN, most of the POEs have been really heavily laced with ads and not a lot of match time.
Yeah, like if SummerSlam was still on Peacock, guess what? I would be able to watch it even though I'm down here. But now that it's on ESPN, I'm not paying the subscription for ESPN Unlimited. So I can't.
Some cable companies do get it for free. I get it for mine for DirecTV. YouTube TV just got it the other day. I don't understand why it's not everyone.
So, yeah, it's frustrating. SummerSlam's it's going to be a good show. There's matches I'm interested in. There's some matches I just don't flat out understand. Like, why are we doing an interim championship in a ladder match?
Okay, well, I'll say I don't understand why there's an interim championship. I do understand why you're having a ladder match for what should be the vacant Women's World Championship. That's how or WWE Champion. That's how I'll word it.
Yeah, like.
By the way, I'm on the record. Chelsea Green should win that. If it's really an interim championship, let Chelsea run with it for 2 weeks. She doesn't even have to be the champion when Rhea gets back. She can be the champion for 2 weeks or 8 days, like Sami Zayn was.
Yeah, which the fact that like they just put together a match for Sami, really? Like, granted, Sami versus Finn is going to be really good, but like Finn is only facing Sami because Finn won a fatal 4-way. Yay!
I do think they're building a longer story with Sami.
I agree.
I think Sami does lose this match. I would not be surprised if Sami doesn't get his rematch for the world title until he wins the Royal Rumble and goes to Saudi Arabia. No, again, it goes, but again, here's the other problem. You got Oba, who has to be in a main event next year at WrestleMania after he beats Brock Lesnar. He's probably going to face Roman Reigns, I would assume. What's your other main event spot going to be? Because there's a lot of people who are also complaining about, the woman haven't main evented WrestleMania since Sasha and Bianca Belair did it at WrestleMania 37. Well, okay, you tell me. what women's match, and I think Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are worthy of a main event. But you tell me, if you're putting that match on over a Cody versus whoever, or Punk versus whoever, or Breaker or Sammy, you're not.
Rhea versus Liv is not main event worthy. I'm sorry. I've seen that match enough. I'm
saying 2 years ago, like SummerSlam, you're going to make a case that could have main evented over Cody and Solo. How hot that feud was.
Yes. I see what you're saying. But like, that's the frustrating part. Like, did you see the way they confirmed Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin? It wasn't even on TV.
Yes. Well, maybe that's by design. Because
also,
Baron.
Why is Carmelo Hayes not in that match? What?
So they can give Baron the title, so they can give him the rub, because Baron Corbin is going to come back as a force in the mid-card division. I think Corbin is going to beat Trick Queen straight up within end of days. I'm a fan of Baron Corbin. I hope they bring back the Lone Wolf. I really would love to see him bring back the long hair. I was a big fan of Baron Corbin. I'm still pissed to this day what they did to him in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, the whole.
I've always been a fan of that guy. That guy has made bum-ass Corbin, Happy Corbin, the Lone Wolf. Every character they've given him has worked.
Sad Corbin.
Also, by the way, we're not even talking about stars on the shelf. I alluded to them, but Randy Orton, not on SummerSlam this year. Drew McIntyre, not on SummerSlam this year. Kevin Owens is still out injured. Rhea Ripley out. So I don't think they know what to do. I honestly think they look at the roster and they're like, how do we get everybody over? And they don't know how to do it.
It honestly feels like this might be a bit of a hot take. And I know we've gone way over what we expected, but that's what you and I do. But WWE kind of feels directionless right now.
In some areas, yes. In some areas, no, right? Like, I think Oba, they have a direction for. Whether you want to call it King of the Ring or whatever, their direction was, we're going to have him be this monster and beat Brock, which we haven't even touched on. This could be the very last time Brock Lesnar steps foot in the squared circle. However you feel about Brock Lesnar and what happened over the last year, Brock is one of the greatest combat athletes of all time. And last night on Raw could have been his last appearance ever on Raw.
And did that segment sell me on their Hell in a Cell match? No.
I mean, it sold me a little bit. The middle fingers got me.
The whole segment was stupid. Like they lowered the cage. Oba weighed in great. Brock didn't.
Again, it's like they're doing it more for the live crowd than they are at the arena, which I get it. But also, you know, the ticket prices are a thing too. Like, it's a combination of, yes, they've only sold 30,000 for night one and 28 or whatever it is for night two. Part of it is creative. Part of it is rich people can't even afford the ticket prices you're doing. So it's a whole freaking convoluted mess.
Yeah. I got to ask you, when WWE comes to Cleveland for that double taping, are you going to go to that?
Oh, I got my tickets months ago. So I got it because I skipped out on the Raw. Was it in February? I can't remember when it was, but there was a Raw that was here in February I did not go to. I said, I'm going to go to SmackDown. I'm going to bite the bullet because there's a chance. I think this was still in the Rumble season. I thought Roman was going to face Cody, and there was a chance Roman could be on SmackDown, and maybe I see him or something. I thought, you know, why not go? But I can only afford one now a year and not two because of the ticket prices they're currently at. Thank God I get the price of two shows for one this time.
I'm still waiting for Dynamite to come to Cleveland. Like, Dynamite's going to be in Detroit this week. They already announced they're going to be in Indianapolis later in September. I think that's the go-home show for All Out, which is going to be in Chicago. Tony, what about Cleveland? When are you bringing Dynamite or something?
Josh, I wonder, WWE got hot in 2022, and after WrestleMania 40, they cooled off. They need something to get them hot again. Tony could be that something, but clearly there's something in AEW that's not getting them hot. It's like they're warm, but they're not hot. And both companies sort of feel like they're stalling momentum every time they get somewhere.
I wonder if, WWE's trying to do everything they can to block AEW from running like a show over WrestleMania weekend next year. I think Tony's actually going to do it. And that could be the spark AEW needs.
Somebody needs a spark, because it feels like both companies right now are swimming in water. As much as I make fun of one and you make fun of the other and we argue, I think we both agree on that.
Yeah. There's some good stories in both companies, but then there's some stories you're like, yeah, I don't really care about that.
It's bad because I try to make reasons out of everything. The Jericho thing and the Danhausen thing. Oh, the Danhausen thing. I had to turn off Raw, which I have not done. There are things that I will watch that are bad, but I'll sit through. I couldn't. I could not. That was the most. That made me question everything I was doing with my wife at that very moment. It made me question if Vince is back, which I have not done in about 4 years.
Again, since WrestleMania, when she won the title, do you know how many feuds she's been involved in? How many title defenses Liv Morgan has had? 0. Let me say that again.
Yeah,
0.
I think part of it is she was hurt. They need new writers. I'll give you a little insight on Unreal, what happened. So they're sitting in the writers' room. This is about January, okay? They're getting ready for the Rumble, and they're talking about who should we call up for the Rumble. And Triple H says, Oba 100%. Oba's our guy. Oba's our future. And they're talking about who else. Do we give Javon a spot? Do we give Trick a spot? They decided on Trick. But Bruce Pritchard, who I know you probably know the name, he's been there forever. He's been in the company for like 30 years, if you include various stops. He dead ass says, well, you got to remember, when we call up Oba and Trick Williams, they're not going to be ready because they're in NXT. We have to train them our way. Like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know.
The point of NXT now, what Shawn Michaels is doing, is getting them ready for the main roster. Again, it's like they've all gone back to how Vince used to do things, so they don't know what else to do.
Yeah, what happened to Ricky Sainz? He's vanished into the Phantom Zone.
Had a match with Trick Williams, and then it's like, okay, you're just going to disappear for 3 months.
Exactly.
Now AEW has this problem too. But it's always the same problem. Both companies are loaded. And the ironic thing is, the hottest company in wrestling right now is the company that I shit on a couple months ago in TNA.
And TNA just lost Mike Santana. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. His new name is Cruz Montana.
He did not impress me. But when I went there at the pay-per-view in April, that main event was terrible. But did you see TNA had their best viewership in like a decade?
Yeah. Again, I enjoyed that pay-per-view. I thought
there was logical things that completely lost me.
Well, my biggest problem was I don't watch TNA regularly, so I didn't know why most of the matches were happening. I didn't know the stories or anything.
But sometimes, though, when you watch wrestling for the first time, you don't know the stories. You go in, you get excited by the antics. And I think that's what WWE's banking on. I think they think, Netflix is so global and everybody sees on the internet that we're like this cool organization that we don't have to do anything on Raw or SmackDown anymore.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't.